Remember that song we used to sing? It's just like watching Brazil. But if all our summer transfer targets arrive next season, it will literally be like watching Brazil. Hello and welcome back to my channel over and over again, where we will be discussing everything to do with Arsenal. Now today's transfer target is a guy called Gabriel Mangalhaes, who is a 22-year-old central defender, Brazilian again, currently playing for Lille in France. Now, there's been quite a lot of interest in this player from several other clubs, including Manchester United. He is highly thought of. I've got to be honest, I don't know that much about him other than he's a left-footed centre back, and the asking price for him is apparently about £25 million. Now, that doesn't necessarily seem a great deal, but when you consider that he's very inexperienced, he's only played 39 games, I think, for Lille. He's been sent out on loan a couple of times. And really, the season that's just finished, which of course in France didn't finish properly, was his sort of breakthrough season. Really, I think he played 24 times. So most of his appearances have come in, in the last season. So he does lack experience, and that's a slight concern with the money on offer that they're asking for him. But he does seem very composed. He seems like he's a strong sort of man marker as well, which I think might be important. And so being sort of left-sided, I do think that it gives a little bit more flexibility in the defence as well, which we've maybe been lacking. I can kind of see him being a typical Arteta sort of player, actually. He looks like he can ping them balls out from defence as well. So my only concern, I say, is his lack of experience, and also the fact that I think the price is quite expensive. Compared to the amount of sort of games that he's played. Now, there are other clubs interested, as I said, but we may have a slight advantage here. Now, if you remember, Lille was a club from which Nicolas Pepe was signed last summer. Now, I'm hearing that Raul actually has a really good relationship with their club president, and that was how we managed to get the Pepe deal done last year in terms that suited the club. And it looks like we would be favourites to maybe sign this Gabriel on that basis, really, because I think we may be able to get a good deal done. Maybe in instalment plans again or something like that, possibly. Although maybe if other clubs are going to offer the full amount up front, we don't know. But I certainly think we've got a little bit of an advantage on that basis. Lille could end up being a club that we do quite a lot of business with, over the next few years, which may or may not be good depending on the quality of the players that they've got. But I'm a little bit unsure about this player, if I'm honest, just because I don't know enough about him. I just feel his lack of experience might not be necessarily what we need for now. Yes, he could well be one for the future. It could be a good investment. So I'm going to maybe have to reserve judgment slightly on this one, just because I don't know enough about him. So it's not going to be a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's maybe going to be a thumb to the side, maybe for Gabriel Mangalhaes, just because I'm a bit unsure about him. Now, there's a little bit of other transfer news that I can bring you today. I'm sure most of you have heard the story that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is now really close to signing his new contract that apparently has been agreed. It's a 3-year deal, apparently worth £300,000 a week. My hope is that sort of high wage is not going to come back to haunt him in the same way that it has with Ozil. I know there are different types of players and stuff like that, but my worry is that it could get brought up every time he misses a penalty or misses a few chances. I think we need to understand that everybody at the club wants him to stay. I think that's pretty obvious, and if that's what it takes to keep him, he deserves he deserves it in the sense that the goals that he scores and how important he is for the team. So it'd be brilliant news if this is true. I think he may well be on holiday at the moment, but I think the deal is expected to be signed when he comes back, which will be fantastic. We can tie him in for a 3-year deal, then that's really, really good news. So let's hope that is true. Just the other couple of players that we've spoken about this week, just a few updates on them. The deal for Willian is expected to be completed once Chelsea's Champions League campaign is finished, which could be as early as tomorrow. Of course, if you remember, they're 3-0 down against Bayern Munich from the first leg, so they're unlikely to turn that around. And I think Williams then may well be off on holiday. So that deal looks like it's going to be done. I think it's a 3-year deal that's been agreed at £130,000 a week. As I mentioned the other day, I think this is a good deal for the club, actually, with what Willian can bring in terms of experience. So I think this is a good deal. So this should be done maybe in the next week or so, next couple of weeks. Looks like William is definitely incoming, so that's a positive. The other player we spoke about yesterday, Philip Coutinho, seems to be a bit of a cooling off on that one. The rumours are that maybe we wasn't necessarily that interested in that Barcelona. We're maybe trying to force him on a few clubs, of which we were one. But apparently the club aren't going to be pursuing that, is what the rumours are. Bearing in mind last year, of course, the same thing happened with Nicola Pepe, where we said we wasn't going after him, and then we signed him. So I wouldn't necessarily completely rule it out, but it does seem at this moment perhaps a little bit less likely to happen than maybe we thought a couple of days ago. So that's sort of pretty much all the transfer rumours for the time being. The good thing about it this year for me is that we seem to be targeting players this year that are realistic targets that we realistically could get, and that would improve what we've got and what we need. So, in previous years we've been linked with all sorts of players that we're probably never ever going to sign. So the good thing is that doesn't seem to be the case at this moment for this year. I'm just finally as well, actually, I'm hearing today that the club are willing to sell Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Now, for me, that would be a strange decision. One, he's come through the academy. He's obviously got massive links with the club, and he's a very versatile player, isn't he? I mean, he can play in 2 or 3, 4 different positions, and he's done a reasonably good job wherever he's played. And I think it would be a shame to sell him because of that versatility. It's almost like having 3 players in the squad. He can fill in for lots of different players. I mean, he maybe wants a more regular place in the team, which you can understand, but I think we should maybe try to keep him. Unfortunately, it seems like we're maybe now in a situation where to buy players, we're going to have to sell players. And if Ainsley's going to be able to bring in some much needed money, then maybe that's what the thinking is. But it would be a shame because I do feel as though he's an Arsenal boy, and he's got. I feel he'd have a good future with the club, but unfortunately, sometimes the financial situation takes preference. So that's maybe a little bit of bad news, possibly, if that happens. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the sort of latest transfer stuff that's going around, particularly on this Gabriel Mangalhaes. I say I don't really know that much about him, so if you maybe know a little bit more, let us know whether you think it'll be a good signing or a bad signing. For me, I'm still a bit undecided, but we'll wait and see on that one. And of course, on all the other rumours as well. Obviously, Aubameyang signing a contract is a massive big thumbs up from everybody. So that's great news. But let me know your thoughts. If you like these videos, please share, like, and subscribe to the channel. I'll be bringing a lot more Arsenal related stuff all the way through the summer and obviously into next season as well. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, come on, you Gunners.